Michael Mann's Heat is a modern-day crime classic, an all-star cops and robbers flick featuring an incredible cast, including Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer, Tom Sizemore, Jon Voight, Ted Levine and Natalie Portman. It was the first film to pit the titanic duo of Al Pacino and Robert De Niro against each other, in a film where we follow a robbery gang planning their next major score and simultaneously the cops out to stop them. Now, Heat is a film with great characters with established backstories which enhances the sense of realism and world building. And it's with this in mind that Michael Mann has always wanted to go back into that world. In fact, Heat itself isn't even the first time Mann made Heat, as the movie is a remake of Michael Mann's own film LA Takedown. Regardless, Mann has now revealed he has finished working on a sequel to Heat, which is due to be released on August the 9th. Only it isn't actually a film, but a novel. Now I know what you're thinking now that you've clicked on this video and realized it's only a book. Hey, Senoranta.
Don't waste my motherfucking time!
But I'm actually looking forward to this. If you're a member of this channel, you'll know about my love for books, and the idea of Mann revisiting this world, these great characters, on a paperback format is pretty cool, and I'll be interested in checking it out and seeing how it is. I'm glad that Mann didn't try to make a movie sequel. For one, we've seen more than enough examples of film directors going back to projects that made them famous with new sequels or prequels and absolutely ruining them. Plus, Mann is not the same filmmaker he once was in the 90s, and much as we love him, there is no way he'd be able to reach the greatness of the original Heat again. There was talk of a film follow-up to Heat, but it looks like Mann eventually decided on a novel instead. Mann has written the book with Edgar-winning writer Meg Gardiner, and as far as I'm aware, it's pretty much just called Heat 2. The book is both a sequel and a prequel to the 1995 film. According to Deadline, the novel Heat 2 starts one day after the events of the film, with a wounded Chris, played by Val Kilmer in Heat, desperate to escape LA. The story moves to both 6 years preceding the heist and the years immediately following it, featuring new characters and new worlds of high-end professional crime, with highly cinematic action sequences. The venues range from the streets of LA to the inner sanctums of rival Taiwanese crime syndicates in a South American free trade zone, to a massive drug cartel money laundering operation just over the border in Mexico, and eventually to Southeast Asia. Heat 2 explores the dangerous workings of international criminal organizations with full-blooded portraits of its male and female inhabitants. A key is a deep dive into the life of Hannah, 6 years earlier in Chicago, and signature cases that honed his skills. It included the failing of his earlier marriage, the effects of his Marine Corps service in Vietnam, and conflicts within the Chicago PD where he discovers his life's calling, the pursuit of armed and dangerous felons, into the dark and wild places that would doom his marriage in Heat. In Chicago, that includes the hunt for a particularly vicious crime crew. The book also covers the lives, 6 years before the bank heist, of master thieves Macaulay and Shihalis, whose characters become central in the post-1995 world of Heat, as well as Charlene, Nate, Trejo, and the wheelchair-bound Kessler, who provided the bank alarm schematics to Macaulay in the film. Mann has spoken about the book, saying, "It's been my intention for a long time to do the further stories of Heat. There was always a rich history or backstory about the events in these people's lives before 1995 in Heat, and projection of where their lives would take them after. The bank job was not the first time Kelso worked with Macaulay, and not the last time he would work with Chris. When I was writing the film, it was imperative for me to create complete life stories about all the characters, and to know everything about them, including Neil Macaulay's early institutionalized years where he lost track of his brother before he parachuted into the streets, young, angry and dangerous. And the novel shows a Macaulay very much attached, and the dramatic events that resulted in his dictum that if you're making moves on the street, have no attachments, allow nothing to be in your life that you cannot walk out on in 30 seconds flat if you spot the heat around the corner. My way of working with a project involves immersing into the culture of the subject and accumulating a lot of detailed first-hand impressions and information. I want to know and feel that culture and the lives of the people in it, methods, attitudes, and family values. I like to navigate these environments and operate within them. There's an authenticity discoverable there that I believe resonates with audiences as real as true. So that was the end of Michael Mann's quote. Prequels are inherently problematic, and there's many issues that come about with making them, like for example, we will know how the characters end up. Explaining every little detail makes things less interesting, etc., etc. But I guess because it's a book, there's an element where if I don't like it, I can think, well, so what, I'll just etch it from my memory, which is more difficult to do if it is a film. The book will dive deep into the backstories of pretty much all of the principal characters, even apparently Val Kilmer's character growing up with his teenage mother before she was institutionalized, and Charlene's previous life as a Vegas call girl. I can't help but feel that this all feels very unnecessary and has that whiff, that Francis Ford Coppola, Ridley Scott, George Lucas, Peter Jackson smell of a veteran filmmaker unable to let go of his previous achievements and avoid tinkering with it, and thus messing it up. Still though, I'll check it out and will let you know what I think of it. Of course, Pacino and De Niro's characters never met before Heat, so it does make you wonder how the narrative flow and story structure is going to be if we're getting a prequel exploring both of the characters' backstories. Apparently, they narrowly miss each other in Chicago in Heat 2. You can't help but feel this all feels a bit pointless, but I guess if done right, there is room for interesting stories. Neil obviously has a history in the game, and there's that scene where Jon Voight breaks down Vincent Hanna's history to Neil, and he says something like, he's taken down some heavy crews, blew away Franchiano in Chicago, he was a fucking maniac. So maybe that's something we'll see explored. So, are you looking forward to Heat 2, or is this something you could do without? Would you have preferred a movie? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.